Well, Team Liquid taking note of that, and I think that was the biggest debate. It's like, do we want to give up Xayah? Do we want to give up Tristana? Looks like Golden Guardians will be able to get their hands on this one. It can still be flexed between Gori and Stixxay. Team Liquid probably the only other team that has consistently flexed that pick, but they can always go for Kaisa once again and run it back.
I appreciate the fan sign meta. It's evolved quite a bit in the playoffs. Everyone has very, very funny signs.
I'm looking for maybe a Sejuani for TL here. I think Sejuani plus a counter pick. They go for the Rell instead, which is also flex, so they could go for Sejuani later. I'm curious to see what APA will play into Tristana if it's in the mid lane. I think his champion pool is not that good into Tristana. It plays a lot of squishy champs, so if I'm GG now, I just look for something like the Maokai or the Ivern or Sejuani even, and kind of just make it a very easy front-to-back draft with the AD pressure from Tristana in mid lane.
Yeah, and as you already called out here, Treats, you know, Golden Guardians seemingly changing up what their mid-jungle duo picks that they wanted to look for. Nocturne Nico, more of a level 6, hey, we're going to turn off the lights and try to flank you from multiple angles side, but now with Tristana, you have a lot more early pressure. Maokai, you can always just stop your full farming clear and then look for an early gank, try to burn flash for flash on Maokai, and try to put APA in the dirt.
So this is actually Gori's first Tristana game of this split, but he played it quite a bit in Summer Split, and he is someone who's very proficient on the champion, just lean towards counterpicking the Tristana more often than not. But through all of this, somehow Licorice's Rumble has gone through.
I mean, it's a really good pairing with the Maokai and the Tristana. Obviously, with Tristana mid, you're kind of lacking the damage, and I mean, APA is just going to take Nico instead. I think TL's draft is very aggressive and GG is kind of soaking a lot, so it's going to be a very different game from last game. I think this time around GG has a bit more flexibility and TL is on the kind of early game comp here.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the adaptations. The Rumble, of course, was open last game, but it was the first pick Nico that you don't want double AP solo lanes here. Yeah. Does enable that, but I am very happy to see Yeon back on the Kaisa. I thought he had a great game, able to slowly funnel gold his way and end up kind of carrying those late game fights in damage. The Pyosik was very good as well. We'll have to see what he ends up on. Could be on the Rell, could flex it around. Seeing the Nocturne ban themselves out of Golden Guardians.
There's a lot of flexibility still in TL's draft with the Rell. It's kind of like, you know it wants to go jungle, but you still have to ban stuff like the Nocturne just because the combo with Nico is that strong. It will be interesting to see if Core will just take the Rell or if Pyosik will take it. I kind of expect TL to pick top on 4, obviously with the Rumble shown already, that makes the most sense. Not sure what Summit's best choice is into it. I would expect it to be an AD champ, maybe something like the Gnar. I think it's something that he prefers in this type of matchup.
Team Liquid starting to hover over what other options that Stixxay would go for. Last time they banned the Zeri and the Aphelios out, but then it was the Ezreal that slipped away to Stixxay's hands. And Team Liquid, there should be no way that they lock this in since they already have their marksman in Kaisa. I mean, that would be a crazy flex. I mean, where are you sending everything else then?
You send the Nico top, easy. Not going to happen though.
You're right.
Oh, Aatrox as well. Okay, that's really interesting. I think that kind of tells me that the Rell wants to go jungle. I was thinking if they would go for something like the Sejuani Jax or Sejuani Renekton into Rumble. That's a very lethal combo. I think now if I'm GG and I'm picking bot lane, I'm just looking for something safe. There's a lot of dive on TL and a lot of pressure, so Zeri, Rakan, very good at absorbing pressure.
And I love this combo. Rakan can set up for that equalizer to guarantee true once you have multiple people charmed up and knocked up on that engage. Multiple ways to disengage fights as well with Golden Guardians. Whether you want to pick the fight on your own or if you want to force them on your own terms, Team Liquid now have to round off this composition. Do they want to lock in a support counter for Core or look for something for Pyosik and give him the Rell instead? And it looks like we are back to the Viego reset hype train.
I'm surprised to see him go back to it. He has had 2 great Viego games so far, so clearly he's very confident on the champion. Pyosik starting up another loser's bracket run like he had last year on DRX, but this time I feel like there's a lot better kind of like peel with the Maokai and the Rakan, all these things to make it more annoying for Viego to actually go in.
Yeah, there's a lot of early pressure on TL. I'm kind of scared for GG's bot lane in this draft. They don't really have a lot of wave control. They get pushed in early, and then mid-jungle is also losing from the side of GG, so TL is looking for a really aggressive mid-jungle into bot type of game, whereas GG, I think, wants to use the Rumble and kind of Tristana to balance out the early game and just kind of scale up.
Yeah, and if you're accelerated with this Team Liquid composition, you have a lot more burst damage coming in from both of your solo lanes. This is now a champion that Summit can actually group up with the rest of Team Liquid versus something like the Fiora you want to just stay split pushing. So Team Liquid have a...
Maokai just doesn't fall behind, just covering lanes the entire early game.
Yeah, it would be quite the flip from game 1 where Golden Guardians, it seemed that they were the ones forcing more plays and Team Liquid were reacting it. And now the contrast is going to go their way as Team Liquid sending multiple members, all 5 towards the top side of the map.
CoreJJ with the wall hop on the Rell going to try and find Licorice here.
This could be dicey, but we do have a sideline interview with Gabby and Golden Guardians coach Spooks.
All right, as we potentially get into some action, Spooks, give me the lowdown on the team room after that first game.
Yeah, spirits are still high. I think everyone realized we should have closed the last game out. Early game was rough. We definitely could have done more early game, like particularly with our level 1. So I think spirits are still high. We know if we get to the mid game even against TL, we're at an advantage. So yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah, and lots of tools this time around. You know, they're going for the Viego pop-off again, but tell me how everyone's feeling, getting some comfort, the Rumble coming through for Licorice.
Yeah, I mean, this draft, in the scheme of this meta, this draft is really strong. So, you know, I think we just need to do the fundamentals well. I think we have an advantage in draft this game, so yeah.
Have faith in the bounce back. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Back to game 2.
Thanks, Gabby and Spooks, as we now resume game 2. Looks like a little bit of a leash for the bottom side of the map for both teams, as this will allow Pyosik and River to have the option to either full clear towards the top side of the map, where it seems it will be a little bit more volatile between the Rumble and the Aatrox.
Yeah, both junglers are gonna look towards top in the early game. I think mostly for defending on the side of GG. I think they can win the 2v2 if Licorice has a good trade because of the Ignite, but as Spooks kind of said, if everything goes according to plan and they get into mid-game even, they're really confident in this draft. And I would also agree with him that GG is very favored in this draft.
I think Team Liquid's such an interesting team because they have a lot of unique pocket picks in the meta. You know, like APA has his unique champion pool, we talked about that, but even Core has like the Taric you can bust out. Summit obviously has a lot of his carry champions. Pyosik is now on the Viego, so they're a hard team to kind of evaluate because they do have some champions that you're just not seeing that much in other places.
So far, Pyosik is a little bit ahead of the curve here, already finishing his Raptors before River is getting a chance to cross over into the top side of the map. And Pyosik actually going for a defensive ward. Some early trading on the bot side of the map. Huhi taking a large chunk, whereas CoreJJ and Yeon still maintaining HP.
Yeah, both junglers' path got confirmed right now, so everyone has full information. Gori is going to get a pretty good trade here on APA.
Exhaust coming out early from Huhi, as Stixxay and Huhi are actually finding a way to really brute force their way into maintaining lane advantage.
Well, as you heard Treat say, once you know where the jungler is, the lanes of Golden Guardians go, great, let's jump on them. And both bot and mid take very aggressive trades.
Cleanse from Stixxay still has flash. Huhi has his flash as well, while Yeon and CoreJJ down in HP, but still have their summoners to play with. I'm
surprised that GG has bot push in this matchup. With the cleanse and the exhaust from the side of GG versus heal Ignite, there's so much more power on the side of TL. Maybe it's a strat for them to give push in early game and kind of look for a counter with Pyosik as he's coming into bot side here.
Yeah, it feels like Golden Guardians were the more aggressive ones, spending both their summoners to win out on kind of the health trade and getting prio for that reason, but like you said, Team Liquid have the better combat summoners if an all-in comes in with Pyosik or something like that.
And so far, as you called it out, Treats, that Pyosik looming right back around, but knowing that there might not be a chance for him to really find anything on the Stixxay and Huhi, he's going to look for the reset instead.
Yeah, TL needs to get this wave in though, and Pyosik just backed, so they're kind of in a predicament right now. GG has full wave control. They don't have sums, as you said, but they still have pretty good health advantage and mana advantage, so maybe Yeon will just take the space. It looks like Pyosik's actually just going to run straight down. He will probably skip his Gromp and just help them unfreeze this, so this creates a lot of pressure on bot side, and meanwhile on top lane, there's a free window here for River.
Yeah, it's both lanes are kind of in an awkward spot here for Pyosik. Had to decide if he wants to try and bail out bot lane or protect top side, and ends up going bot, so Licorice now is in a great spot to kind of freeze this wave. You can see Summit forced to TP back in here, an awkward buy, having to grab null magic and boots.
Wait, he's not spotted by the ward? That's crazy. Oh, well, now he's spotted, and they're going to be able to ping him out. And as long as Golden Guardians bot lane can waste as much time as possible, River can get a huge advantage in deciding whether he wants to be here for the counter.
Yeah, but like we said as well, TL wants to play really aggressive in the early game, and it's just kind of become this defensive game. Licorice is overheated, so I think he's fine in this trade. Looks like Summit has no cooldowns. But yeah, like I said, the early game for TL, they want to be aggressive, but now Pyosik is just kind of trying to unfreeze every lane and help every lane, so it's turning into a game of like, GG is just freezing every lane. Where do we go? What can we do? And if this is the case and GG is just farming, they're winning.
Yeah, Pyosik feels like a bit of a firefighter running around the map, trying to fix all the lay states.
River, does he want to burn Flash onto Flash? but Yeon and CoreJJ get enough distance so that River's not able to chase them down. But as you mentioned here, Treats, like, this wave is so bad for the side of Team Liquid's bot lane that Golden Guardians get to maintain it here in front of the tower.
Yeah, now Pyosik has respawning camps on top side, so he has to path bot to top, and then there's no dragon opportunity either for TL, so it's kind of a disaster early game here, even though the gold is not really saying it. It's only a 700 gold lead so far. It's kind of the pressure and the way that TL is forced to respond.
I mean, you have to remember, though, it's only 5 minutes in, almost 6, and just a 700 gold advantage off CSing and wave states is a pretty big lead for Golden Guardians, given that we also expect them to have pretty strong mid to late game team fighting.
Oh, APA, Flash Pop Blossom, they turn their tails right onto Gori, but not enough damage. Just one more on attack. It's the Flash Q from Pyosik. As the Blade of the Ruin King finds its mark, River flashing around top of Pyosik, knowing that he's got nowhere to go. But the stun, the miss, River has the twisted advance, but Summit is here for the counter re-engage, and they find 2 kills in the end.
Team Liquid instantly delete that gold lead that we were just hyping up with a nice skirmish around the mid lane. APA so good on playmaking with this Nico pick. Gori chunked low from some of the trades, and they just hop right on top of him here. They think they can turn around because they get the root onto Pyosik, but that just baits Gori forward for the flash ult from APA and get that first kill.
Yeah, that was perfect as well. Pyosik landed his W there on Gori, so he couldn't really flash away instantly, and when he could flash, he was 1 health, and River knows that he'll probably die if he goes for his kill, but it's one of those where you're just like, might as well try and see what happens. Summit comes in for the kill there, but the game is kind of evened out now. I think TL needs a few more of those to kind of get the game snowballing. Getting a dragon would be really good as well, and it looks like with the position of River that they will secure this one.
And 4 members stacked on top. APA also making sure to stop by the dragon first before checking out the mid wave. First dragon goes over to Team Liquid.
No flash now though on APA and Pyosik for this Herald. Licorice has obviously ult, ignite, and flash, so I think it's a kind of tricky Herald to get for TL now. I think they'll need to use their bot lane if they want to secure this one, and it's a really important objective for TL this game, so they can keep up the snowball.
It's a lot easier for Golden Guardians to secure it as well. Nature's Grasp is just such a huge area of effect spell to control the field. Even if you're not using it to engage, you can just use it to force Team Liquid off. So I imagine I'm in the same boat with you as well. Golden Guardians seem favor for the Rift Herald taking.
Definitely feels like if both teams are just kind of staring at each other in River, it's very hard for Team Liquid to find an angle. It's going to be a lot about can APA and Pyosik get onto a backline, start resetting through the fight, because if you're just sitting there with a Maokai Rumble ult dropped on your head, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The nice thing is that assist did help Summit actually grab his Merc Treads pretty quickly here, so it does make it a fair amount easier. Already 20 CS down though.
Yeah, I think this also just says a lot about the draft, because if TL doesn't really get an advantage on the mid jungle in early game, they made the play just before Herald, so it means that they don't have any pressure up for the Herald itself. So even though they get some kills, the objective should still, in my opinion, go to Golden Guardians here. And if TL forces a fight, I think GG should be favored.
Equalizer, Nature's Grasp available. Gori doesn't have sums, but he can still Buster Shot someone away as he's going to look for an aggressive trade, but APA is able to psych him out with the clone, so it doesn't take as much damage, but Gori making sure that he can force that mid-wave prio and guaranteed Rift Herald as no one contests River, and he secures it.
Yeah, I mean, APA just spam pretending to be Kaisa, sending his clones out as an all-in here on Yeon.
Oh, and nice engage from Huhi, knocking up Yeon, so he's not able to get any damage out. CoreJJ forced to run away with the crash down. Exhaust onto Yeon. Still has a flash, but Stixxay's looking for the bullets on the CoreJJ. Neither of them go down, but a lot of pressure in Golden Guardians' favor.
I like the attempt there. They had the early 6, but they couldn't actually convert it into a kill. Now it's Team Liquid's turn on the other side of the map.
Nice flash from Licorice, dodging the stun from Pyosik, and he doesn't have a flash to follow up with, so Licorice able to dodge out on that one.
Good
Pyosik
attempt.
tried there with the flash predict, didn't land with the Nimbus cloak from Licorice. He's pretty fast.
The Nimbus cloak tech to make sure you had the move speed after. This does open up a potential counterplay. Now that they have the Herald completed for River, they can go get that shove and drop that to continue funneling gold into Licorice.
Does someone want to stay here? He has Pyosik here to defend him so that River cannot threaten with a dive. Equalizer and Nature's Grasp still available from both the top laner and a jungle of Golden Guardians.
Oof.
And Pyosik is now dipping him, and this could be dicey for Summit here.
And we can see Rakan and Zeri coming up here as well. They're just completely leaving bot lane. They have the Herald and they want to make a top play right away.
It's going to be difficult here. It's all darkness for Summit. He has no idea where the rest of the members are. Only vision on Gori in the mid lane, who he has slunk around to the right side.
An experience.
No quickness available, but the Nature's Grasp into the knockup, into the burning carpet. Golden Guardians make that look easy. And the Rift Herald can be dropped here, and all those plates going into Stixxay's pockets.
Such a nice setup out of Golden Guardians there. River wrapping around to the backside of the turret to drop the ult forward, basically giving nowhere for Summit to go. He just accepts his fate, doesn't burn his flash, doesn't pop. It popped his ult, but you know, it's going to be back up. So just ends up dropping there, and a nice bit of gold funneled into Stixxay.
Yeah, Yeon might get 2 plates back, but it's a really, really big play here by GG. And this comes back to the point where they did with the ults, when they flashed in on the bot lane and kind of traded a lot of health, because this let them get the push, which then let them have the first reset and run to top lane. So it was a really smart use of tempo on the side of GG to kind of make this overload. Pyosik's looking for Stixxay, but it looks fine. But really smart adaptation there by Golden Guardians, just kind of giving up all in and giving all the gold to Stixxay with those plates.
And it goes back to what you were talking about with the drafts at the beginning of the game. If Golden Guardian is able to go even, let alone start winning ahead in gold, then that's bad news for Team Liquid, because you want to start making things happen. You want to get the snowball on your side. Otherwise, it is so difficult to play into Golden Guardian's composition.
I mean, this is, I feel like, similar conversation to the last game as well, though, where like Team Liquid don't have a ton of front line. It's like just CoreJJ again. He's going to have a lot of responsibility on finding engages, and they still somehow manage to, after losing a Baron, win those games. So it is a bit concerning, but I think last game should give a little bit of confidence. The difference was last game they had a gold lead for the entire early game, which then got away from them, and then they won. Here it is Gold Guardians with the tempo. Yeah,
I think Golden Guardians as well just has a kind of easier scaling draft, a way easier front to back. They don't really have as weak side lanes as they did last time either, so they're kind of winning the front to back 5v5 and also winning the side lane. So from the side of Golden Guardians, if they can deny a dragon, they don't even need to fight the next one necessarily. They can kind of just keep the game going as it is and just be happy with it.
Yeah, even these lane assignments are pretty annoying for the side of Team Liquid. Summit can do so much less under turret.
And it's a repeat visit. River, it almost looked like he wasn't even needed on that top play. They had so much damage from Stixxay and Huhi alone, but the Nature's Grasp locks him down for the guaranteed kill. And this should be the first brick going the way of Stixxay and the rest of Golden Guardians. As the rest of Team Liquid, we're looking for a play seemingly on the mid and the bottom side of the map, but with first brick going Golden Guardians' way, they are way ahead in gold.
For something very nice out of Team Liquid here, despite the fact that the play went massively for Golden Guardians, is CoreJJ's positioning is keeping Licorice too far away to easily ult the wave. He did just get it off there, but that was after Yeon took 2 more turret plays because of that zoning potential. So that was decently played out of Team Liquid, but yet again, Golden Guardians getting the better of the trade.
Yeah, TL with 2 dragons, Golden Guardians with a 2k gold lead. I think everyone's kind of happy on the side of Golden Guardians right now. The gold is very evenly distributed. I think only jungle is kind of behind there for TL. I think the next dragon is going to be the big contest point, because then we're also going to see some items on the side of Gori and Stixxay. Stixxay just finished his static shiv as well, so it just feels like this early game TL was always on the back foot. They were kind of responding to GG while it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
But GG wasn't even fighting them. They were just using the pressure they had from the lanes and kind of using that against TL. So it was a really clean early game from Golden Guardians so far, and also very smart.
Yeah, big difference too is the plays that they sent at Summit early have worked out this time around. It was a kind of similar-ish game plan in game 1. It was just that Summit didn't die, really, and he was able to absorb all that pressure. This time, the plays have been converted pretty effectively, and that is one of the problems, is he is not really online. He is tied with Licorice, both of them playing on the weak side, but the rest of the map has been pretty heavily accelerated for Golden Guardians.
And I imagine Golden Guardians is going to be setting their sights onto Rift Herald as it spawns in the next minute. Pyosik is already here on the top side of the map to make sure that he can hover for summon and get this pressure in. But they need to start setting up vision control, because as you said before, Treats, even though the next objective fight might not be this 3rd dragon, there's still moments where Golden Guardians are starting to get those first items online across the board.
Yeah, and even if GG loses the objective, as long as they don't lose a lot of kills or towers in the process, I think they're fine with it. In this comp, I think at 15 minutes, if they're down 1-2k, they're fine with it. They have a double AD carry with Rumble Maokai late game, so it's kind of up to TL to keep forcing plays and kind of playing aggressive. They haven't found a lot of windows yet, but with APA having flash, I think the next fight can be a big one.
Yeah, speaking of the first items coming through, the Rocket Belt as well really helps APA and Nico make a lot of plays. We've seen him in late game situations before, win team fights, finding key members of backline in the regular season, had a monstrous one versus TSM, so it is still possible for them to blow up one of those carries of Golden Guardians, those 80 carries, if you get on top of them, pretend you're a minion hiding in a brush, some of those tricky plays.
First one to
seize them on the Herald here, but
yeah.
It looks like they're still just... now they're walking into contest. I really think they have to contest this one.
Oh, if Gori can interrupt him with the Buster Shot, he rocket jumps. Can he get the ulti? Oh, but he's in vision, so Gori not able to stop him. Now it's a 5-on-4 against Golden Guardians in this Rift Herald pit. They bully them off, and they're able to win the objective.
Nice little play out of Team Liquid there to bully them off, but it did cost them their teleport down into the mid lane there, and Gori is on the bot side, so he's instantly shoving this one, trying to answer back, getting a turret as quickly as he can.
I mean, if Gori can respond with some tower damage back here, it's not the end of the world for GG. It was a smart use of the TP advantage there for APA. He knew that Gori didn't have TP and he had to run down to catch the wave, and with that he just kind of TPs up to the Herald and secures it. But with that, Gori can push down the spot tower and the Herald is basically negated already.
Yeah, see, the only thing about Tristana is you're like, great, we used our TP advantage and we left Tristana on the bot side of the map. Damn it.
Still a gold advantage for Golden Guardians, and it's still looming over of what we have set in the draft phase of the beginning of this game. Golden Guardians playing even or ahead, this composition is going to just have far more control and more opportunities to wade force fights on their own terms.
A pretty interesting choice here for Summit's Mythic going the Duskblade. We kind of talk about how a lot of their team fighting is probably burst oriented, and he's like, yep, it is. I am not going Gourd Drinker. I'm trying to assassinate one of these backline carries right out the gate with the rest of the Team Liquid engaged. So this is basically a 5-man dive comp, because even Yeon will be kind of functioning. He does probably going to go the poke build, given that he has Hail of Blades, but you can still chip someone low and then try and insta-give someone, and even then APK's burst still is pretty insane-o.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer that from the side of TL because they know that they won't win a slow front-to-back fight in this game. They understand the comps and they understand that they have to kind of go in, one-shot someone, wombo combo a few people and kind of blow them up to win the fight.
It goes back to what you were saying. You need some of that explosiveness and you need to get the burst, especially when you are running a Viego, because you need that burst to get the resets rolling, and that is how you can start swinging things in your favor. Dragon coming up in just under a minute. Huhi scouting out vision, finding Pyosik and both Yeon, and they force him out of the jungle.
I like this kind of early vision setup for the side of Golden Guardians. Understanding the importance of the pick potential that we're talking about with Team Liquid is, well, we have to have vision to make sure that there's no unseen flank angle that comes through.
Maybe an engage on CoreJJ. He sidesteps in, re-engage with the Magnet Storm. Pyosik's right on top of him as well. Huhi forced to use the quickness and getting the charm out. And they're able to disengage off of that one. Team Liquid burning a couple ultimates there from Golden Guardian's side, but neither team still ready to force another fight.
Licorice doesn't have TP or ult right now, so I'm curious to see if he'll run down to this dragon and fight it. I think GG can still fight this though, with the Maokai ult still up and kind of the vision control in the area. TL doesn't feel confident giving this up, but I really think they have to, and it's kind of annoying right now for TL because they want to control the map and kind of find picks, but you can't do that if you don't have vision. And with the double shiv on the side of GG just constantly pushing waves and getting vision over and over again, TL needs to look for a side lane play to kind of explode that, but GG is playing really patiently and not giving them a window.
Yeah, the fact that Huhi was able to bait the teleport from Summit there, you can see made Team Liquid totally fizzle on their decision to attempt a dragon contest. He just ran right back up to the top side and started getting that pushing in their favor again. They do have the Rift Herald up here, so we'll see if they choose to commit that or if they want to save that for maybe trying to break mid lane turret. But yeah, nice play by Golden Guardians. Huhi baiting the engage, baiting a lot of ults and TPs out, and then just still resetting.
Yeah, I think APA is the key player in this game for TL. If he's not in the fight and pop-blossoming a few people, it's going to be really hard for them to have the burst to actually kill someone on the side of GG. So if I'm TL, I'm looking to break out APA from the side lane and get him involved in the plays. Even though it's hard, that's the only kind of thing they can do, and they will have to sack some farm and some pressure for it, but it's a necessary way to play the game to like bring it forward.
Yeah, you have to make those sacrifices to find the vision control so you can look for creative flank angles with the teleport as another potential one in the making. Rift Herald going to be dropped here in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is a good way to force a fight. I think GG is just going to kind of slowly hit it and let the tower get chunked.
Yeah, Huhi's trying his best to stop the charge coming through, but does drop. Not enough pressure, though, from the rest of Team Liquid to actually follow that up with a turret. So for Golden Guardians, that's not that bad, given that you know Shelly's basically going to get a charge off. To not actually losing a gold off of it's pretty huge.
AP has TP here, so if I'm TL, I'm looking for a fight with GG. I think GG is a bit overextended here. He's TPing in.
They throw out the ulti and the equalizer, and they just burn someone down before he gets a chance to fight. Pyosik is waiting on APA. 3-man Pop Blossom, multiple members knocked up. Can they find the reset? Pyosik is burning down River with the equalizer and the burning on River, and now he's the Maokai. Can he look for another reset here? He has to join up and link up with APA. Oh my goodness, over the wall, triple kill. Now Gori and Huhi are in his sights. He's looking for another one. Gori's forced to flash. He finds the sun. That's the quadra. Pyosik looking for more. Huhi's forced to run. The Q shattering strike stun. Huhi's burning down. It's the penta for Pyosik.
Pyosik is going crazy! A pentakill to keep the game alive.
for Team Liquid. He does not want the loser's bracket run to potentially end there. Such a massive play and so well done by him. One massive disjoint on an ultimate over a wall in the middle of this fight, but started out looking very dicey given that squishy build from Summit gets annihilated right out the gate.
I think it's just greedy from GG in the start. I think that they didn't realize that AP had TP up again, and he gets the 3-man Pop Blossom into Pyosik Reset City. I mean, this was crazily played. I think Pyosik failed this ult and had to flash, but he still has he has another ult here coming up on Stixxay.
Yeah, this one over the wall where he gets the extra range by getting halfway over and is able to just tag him for that kill. That starts giving the reset. And here I thought he was dead, but is able to have enough damage to get the third reset, excuse me, onto the Tristana.
I mean, really well played by Pyosik, and I think GD was patient the entire game. They were not patient for one single play, and Pyosik gets a pentakill, and they're on the Nash.
River doesn't have ultimate for another few seconds here. AP another flank right onto the backline. Stixxay's completely isolated off. Equalizer's burning, but it's not enough damage. Pyosik has found his resets once again, and the rest of Golden Guardians, their core has been shattered. And without the backline and the damage, it's an easy pickup for TL.
Second fight in a row. APA finds the back line, gives them the resets to start going through. Yeon goes flying in. Golden Guardians wanted to punish Pyosik for dying at the end of that play and thinking, hey, if the jungler's down, we can force a fight. But again, they lose track of APA, like you said, Treats.
This is really greedy by GG, I think. I don't think they have a clear advantage. They don't have almost any ults. I'm not sure what they're doing here. I mean, TL is really happy to take this fight. APA coming from a really good angle, gets the 2-man ult on the carries, and Yeon flying in, reset city once again. GD, you guys need to chill out a bit.
They're definitely losing their mind there. And I have to say, APA didn't just get the one on Gori, but he also disjointed the Stixxay wall ride to make sure he was in range for Summit to get that kill as well. So monstrous team fighting out of APA. It's one of the things that has led to this Team Liquid summer resurgence. It's not been he's the best laner in the league or anything like that. He brought some stability to Team Liquid team fighting when that was always how they lost their games.
Now they're looking for Stixxay once again. They know that he doesn't have summoner spells. It's just easy pickings for Team Liquid. One more. Can they get off of this Red Bull Baron power play? They're already barreling through the mid tier 1, and they can easily take out tier 2.
Yeah, League is kind of crazy. When one play goes wrong, suddenly it snowballs into another play. You lose Nash, you lose a few kills, and the game is kind of snowballed on the other way around. So TL's looking pretty good right now. Summit's trying to escape.
Still burning from the flame spitter. Licorice gets a knockup from Huhi, and they're able to take out Summit, but you got to deal with the members in the mid lane who have now barreled through into the inhibitor. And that inhibitor is going to fall. Team Liquid shall take their leave.
Nice little pick off into side lane for Golden Guardians, but it's pretty cope at that point to say, hey, we got him, as you lose your mid inhibitor, as well as Stixxay dropping yet again. They've been so proactive with their vision plays out of Team Liquid again, even here, not resetting, trying to bait Golden Guardians to walking into the jungle on this potential dragon spawn.
Oh, and they beat them right on in! They clipped Gori! I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, but they were hoping that they were not waiting in that bush, and now Pyosik is getting the resets once again, looking for Stixxay. Still no summoner spells to cleanse, but it's just to go down. Yeon with the killer instinct, and Team Liquid are just farming the Golden Guardians at this point.
Yeah, that's going to be game. They have super creeps coming in. Summit's respawn with his teleport. Only Huhi and Licorice left alive. He does have the Rumble ultimate, but it's Baron buffed up minions.
At 23 minutes, Equalizer will be expended by Licorice to try and clear the minion wave, but they are just taking down these Nexus turrets rapidly. And Team Liquid will try to end this series swiftly. They're up 2-0. They're on match point. Pyosik refusing to miss the championship weekend.
23.5-minute Game 2 victory out of Team Liquid. Golden Guardians had the early game in their hands the whole way through, but a couple of mid-game team fights off the back of APA flanks lead to a very fast victory.
I mean, I thought this game was done